All right, hi everyone, I'm Robert Kadar. I started my title with something a little bit provocative because I think hopefully it captures people's attention, right? That's what we're here for.
You can use a clicker.
Oh yeah? Okay. So how many people are in higher ed? Raise your hand. Good, good, good. Now how many people know about, it's called the enrollment cliff? Raise your hand. Okay. So for those who don't know about the enrollment cliff, it's like the crisis that's going to happen. I heard someone in a previous talk say like the last 2 years have been really hard in higher ed because of all the crazy things going on. But sad, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but in the next few years, it's only to get really worse. And here's what the enrollment cliff is. It's a demographic shift happening. So younger generations of people going into high school have been decreasing over time because people are having less kids over time. And by 2025, we're going to be at the peak of graduating seniors for high school. And after that, it's just going to go. And so what does that mean, right? That means universities are going to have to compete more for the limited supply of students. We want to look at it from that perspective. And what does that mean? That means that universities are going to be trying to differentiate themselves. Why should you come to my university versus every other university out there? Why should you take my programs versus every other programs out there? So that's going to cause a lot of issues. And so my background, I'm the director of marketing at Yeshiva University. I focus mostly on graduate school marketing. There's 7 graduate schools and over 20 different types of programs, from cybersecurity to AI and so on. But I worked in other universities. CUNY, I worked at the head of the marketing for the 25 colleges, a great institution. And I was previously at Cardozo. So I've been across a bunch of universities. I've seen all of the challenges that we face, and all of these talks are very easy to understand for me because there's so much commonality across universities. One thing I want to say though is I never started with a marketing background. I came from a science background. I was obsessed with experimentation, figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So when I came into higher ed, I had a lot of questions about why we do the things that we do. And so I'm going to be talking about this one big particular thing that's going on in universities, and this is all to get more and more students, whether it's from the undergraduate side, the graduate side, online degrees. It's called lead generation. How many are familiar with lead generation? Just raise your hands. Okay, good, good, good. So massive amounts of money is being spent on advertisement in higher ed. And of course, that's mainly to get more students, right? To differentiate ourselves, figuring out how we can keep the lights on, right? So when I came into higher ed, I wanted to know, how do we know that any of this advertising actually does what it's supposed to do, which is bring us more students ultimately, right? And so one of the tactics that I've seen for over a decade is lead generation. And one of the things that I've noticed about lead generation is that we'll see what I mean by forcing prospects to fill a form. Just remember the word forcing. I call it not lead generation, I call it forced lead generation that's going on in higher ed for the last 10 years. And the common convention in marketing today, in higher ed marketing, and I think it is also common convention across different industries, is this line. And I'm going to read it just because I want to clarify it. So when I was in higher ed 10 years ago, the name of the game for getting more students to our programs was advertising to them, getting them to our website, and having them convert by filling out a form. And so we spent countless of hours trying to figure out what's the right approach. How do what should our landing pages look like? What should our ads look like? And this is what we learned. This is exactly what we learned. So it says, go naked. Your landing page visitors are a few keystrokes and a click away from becoming a bona fide lead. In other words, you've got them right where you want them. The last thing you want to happen is for them to get distracted. Going naked refers to the practice of making your landing page deliberately sparse. Customize the page so that it has zero navigation. That is no menu, no navigation menu, no link back to the home page, no link back to your university website, and no other pages to click on. What the heck? When I read this, I'm like, what the heck? Like now knowing that this is crazy, it's just shocking. This page needs to be devoid of any and all hyperlinks, no distractions. Let the form and submit button be their singular point of focus and usher them through the completion. And this is through a CRM, a popular CRM. I don't know if anyone uses HubSpot. We use HubSpot. This is HubSpot's recommendation about how to build landing pages. Many universities are using the same CRM. And this is what you get. Sorry for anyone who works at these university websites. I'm sorry. But someone clicks on an ad, they get to these type of pages. Again, no navigation, barely any content on it. The form is on top of the website. Don't get distracted by anything else, just the form. Fill that out. Let's see, I want to click on, I swear, if you go on your social feeds, you might get an ad. And this is, sorry for anyone who works at NYU. I used to work at NYU for a little bit, so I got an ad from NYU. Stern School, the business school, right? So, prestigious. Let's click on that. This is what it goes to. Excellence is in our DNA. A form. Even if you click on the logo, it doesn't go to the website. It's just an unlinkable logo. Let's just scroll down for a second. There's not much to scroll to. There's a few informational pieces. Great, great, great. Oh, and another form. Wow. That's great. That's it. Thank you, NYU. I'm hooked into your school, right? I'm going to come to your school because of this. So, okay, let's go back. Thank you. I think there's only one more link to click on. So this is where we're at. So what does this mean about how we treat prospective students, right? What does that really say about us as a university, as marketers? These are the assumptions that I wrote out because I think this is accurate with that kind of approach, the lead generation approach. We think prospective students are generally impatient. We think that they don't need that much information to make a decision. Mind you, a decision that's going to cost them anywhere between $50,000 to $200,000, maybe even sometimes more. It's going to take 2 to 4 years or even more to complete, right, their degree. They love forms, apparently. People love filling out forms to reach the university. Wow. They don't like calling. They don't like emailing. Because we don't need that information on the form. And they like to be emailed a lot. So again, if you fill out a form, what happens, right? Everyone knows this. You get automated emails. You get maybe 7, 10, 100, whatever. Sometimes you get phone calls. As soon as you fill out the form, someone calls you up and says, hey, I've seen you're interested in this program. Da, 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 da. So we think people act like that, right? We think prospective students act like that. Well, what does the data show? What do we actually see? And so the thing that I've been trying to solve for a long period of time in higher ed is, again, how do we know what's working, what's not working? We're spending millions of dollars on advertisement, which we do as an industry too. What does the actual prospect actually do? And so I have this famous line from David Ogilvy, who is a huge advertising legend. The customer is not a moron, choose your way. And I'll show you what I mean by that. But here are the stats. These are the takeaways. Some of the takeaways we figured out across multiple institutions that I worked at. When we looked at the data of all the enrolled students in our CRM database, we wanted to know how many of those people previously filled out a form, whether that came from an advertisement, paid marketing form, or just an organic form on our website or landing page. Turns out 85 to 95% of all of our enrolled students, they had never previously filled out a form. So what does that mean? They do their research, they go to the website, they learn from other websites besides their websites, they call people, they interact with your recruitment team, or they attend an open house. And then they do what they should do, which is apply, because they have all the information they need. We've also had some interesting other data that shows like their journey. One is that it takes them about 7 months after first clicking on an ad that gets to our website. That's their very first interaction with their website. It takes them about 7 months after that to apply. So that shows how much time they're taking to figure out if they're making the right decision. Last piece is that we know they're on our website a bunch of times. They come to our website on average 64 times. They're looking at all of the different content on our pages, from info session pages to program pages to faculty pages. They're doing their homework. And so, so what does the actual behavioral look like? That's what I've been curious about. And so they're doing their homework, like I said. They're mostly not interested in filling out forms, not a big surprise. They prefer to sign up for an info session, come to an open house, call, email, and yeah, so they're not interested in filling out forms, but yet we still think that's true. And they apply directly. They just fill out an application. It's not so hard. So what have we done differently based on this information, based on what the industry is not doing, but we know based on the data what they should be doing? So I wanted to bring you through some of the changes that we made, or I've made when I was at Yeshiva University. And it was actually a big change. I mean, my boss, I love him, he's a great guy, but he was like, this is crazy. Why would you do something that everyone else is not doing? And so it was a big risk for me and the team to take on that kind of new approach. But this is what we did. We started with our website. We wanted to surface all of the information. Can I share that link?
Of course.
Thank you, Maya.
Which one?
The first, it's a link.
Oh, right.
So, I don't know if that person who said that, but videos in the background is a terrible idea. I totally agree with that person, except there's some internal people who are like, I need a video on the back website. So we got to deal with that. So anyway, so the key thing about this page is it's not optimized for people to fill out a form. We do not want you to do that action in many ways. We want you to do what you want to do, which is learn about our program, learn what we have to offer. We know from survey research that there's 4 buckets of areas that students look at. That is the location, affordability, that is reputation, and that is outcome, so like career. And experience is one of them, but we keep to those 4 and we try to add experience in them as well. So our landing pages are information heavy. They really get to all of those buckets, they cover those buckets. And what we're optimizing for is basically what the user wants, which is they might want to call you, they might want to email you, they actually might want to fill out a form too. So that's an option for them as well. So we can go back to the slides. Thank you, Maya. And so I just want to say, like, this extractive method doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It's never worked. And if you're at a university, I appreciate the people in this room, because what I saw from the presentations is that they care about their website, they care about the information that they're giving. Maybe that's the difference between an advertising person, marketing person, and someone who's on the content side. But it just doesn't work. So you should have the data to show that when you're asked by folks to take that forced lead generation approach. And so this is what happened when we changed our strategy. So I've been at Yeshiva University for 3 years. We implemented a new strategy where we, like I showed you, we send people to landing pages with a bunch of information on it. And so I started somewhere around here, and I said, nope, we're not doing any leads anymore. These are leads over time. You can see what happens. Leads just keep going down and down and down and down and down. That would freak out a lot of people. I don't know how many people in higher ed, if you saw that, people would say, oh my gosh, this is going to be a disaster waiting to happen. We are going to be in hot water. And I was scared too, because I was like, I don't know if this is going to work for sure. We still got to test this out. So what happened was great news. We saw applications go up. And this is I think the key stat here. So FY22, we basically had all of these leads coming in, right? Over 1,000, in this case maybe 1,300 or something, across 20 different programs, from our website, landing pages, all over the different places. And we just killed it. We killed it in both ways. We killed the leads, but we killed it in the number of applications we got. We increased our applications over time. So what does that show? It shows there's no correlation, if anything. This is not a causation chart, but there's definitely well, it's close to it. It's almost a causation. Leads do not cause more applications. So what did we have to do to get there, though? This is a thing I want to be fair, somewhat fair to this terrible approach of lead generation. A lot of marketing agencies and marketing departments are so siloed from the enrollment application system in their university. So they just gather a bunch of leads, but they never know if any of these people actually are going to convert to even applications or students. So they're kind of tied behind their back. And what's the best strategy to do? I mean, a lot of times they think lead generation because they can get immediate feedback from these types of campaigns where people are filling out a form and they say, oh my gosh, I just got a lead. And then they hand that over to the admissions people and they try to see if those people are actually going to apply or not. So what we did differently, and what I've been working on for the last 10 years, I call it the holy grail of digital advertising, is being able to see if your actual ad click generated someone who applied and then enrolled in your university. And that's been an elusive problem for me for a long time because of so many different things, from silos between departments, between technology systems like CRMs, from the marketing and the admissions side. But I came back to Yeshiva University to connect the dots between marketing CRMs and the enrollment CRM. And so setting up a system like this, which is, I have to admit, very hard, but it's really important because it gives you full insight into the user's journey from getting to your website to actually becoming a student. That's what I really think is the future for many universities, to see what's actually happening. And so I could talk a lot about that for a long time, but we've been able to get a system in place, a dashboard in place, where we can actually, real-time live reporting, show you clicks to enroll students by the ad platforms we advertise on, from Meta to Google to whatever, and then do those clicks convert to applications, the cost per application, the cost per enrolled student. How much time do I have?
2 minutes.
2 minutes? Okay, I'll take
questions.
questions. Anyway, that's my presentation. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you. I also want to thank Evolving Web. The folks here are amazing. I know them. I've been working with them for quite some time. And so they really care about the industry, higher ed in particular. So I want to give them a round of applause for all the great work that they've done. Questions?
Wait, I'll have a microphone for you.
What service did you use to do your research to find out that the lead generation wasn't working?
Yeah, so when I started a while back and I didn't have a system like this in place, I use HubSpot right now. Thankfully, I don't use their recommendations for building a landing page. But we connect all of our enrollment data into HubSpot, so we can look back and say, from all of our students, we could just filter and say, did they fill out any forms? So that's the technology we use. In the past, what I had to do is basically take the lead data, go to the admissions recruitment team, and ask them for the enrollment data, and basically compare Excel sheets. How many of these people are leads and how many people are on the enrollment side.
You talked about leads versus applications. What about applicants accepting an offer, do you also track that?
Yeah, yeah. So so we have insight into in our HubSpot CRM. We could see that the person applied. We can actually filter down to every step afterwards. So what we end up doing is we want to know from our paid advertisements, the people who did apply, what's the quality of those people? And the only way we really can tell, besides some of the recruiters telling us, oh, these people seem like really qualified people, is that we could see actually the yield from someone who came from an ad, applied, and then later enrolled. So we have to be able to measure all of those different stages in between, from them applying, admitting, depositing, and then enrolling.
So with the way that your website, do you put some of that onto your social media? Like how do you convert it into like social media so students can see that? Like what do they do?
Yeah, so as I tell people on social media, it's becoming harder and harder to actually reach people on these platforms. So your general reach of any organic post, that means post that you don't pay for, is like 2 to 3%. So if you have 100 people, only 2 people are going to see your post. There's this weird conception, I understand it, is like, let's just create a social media page and everyone will see our content, right? That's just not how the world works. These platforms are designed to be pay to play. So when I think about how do we reach new audiences of people, prospective students, I think what's going to give us the biggest lever to get in front of those people, and that's unfortunately it's going to be advertising.
Go into school stuff, girl, like with that, combined with that, like when you move to middle school or high school, is that a combination?
Oh, I don't know anything about. Sorry, I don't know anything about are you saying public middle schools and?
Yeah, like when you visit and you're just like convincing people to enroll in the course kids want to see different things when they're trying or when they're in high school. So how do you combine that with what you're trying to do? Because I know I worked at an organization we tried to get high school students involved, and the application was too long. So after the first 3 things, they're like, "Oh, this looks like an SAT," or it looks like something that so they were trying to apply to the program. So
yeah, I want to say that one of the things that we do as a marketing team that's insanely important for our success is working closely with the recruitment team who goes out to all the open houses or info sessions or visits places. And so the takeaway I think from there is that we learn how to get better in terms of our messaging, because they're the eyes and ears on the ground with the people who are interested in our programs and finance. So we try to take that information back as much as we can and say, how can we improve the messaging that we have? Are we talking to them about are they really interested in scholarships, financial aid, all of that stuff? And if they are, then we need to surface that information on our web pages and social media and ads and all of that stuff as well.
Thank you, Robert. Round of applause again for Robert. He, by the way, helped us a lot too. He volunteered and taught my team a lot about social media and ads and stuff. So thank you.